Recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Lubin, Vice President of Public Policy, AT&T Services. You're probably the good one to answer this, and I have limited time, so if you could just answer in a very small amount of time by the word increase or decrease is the key terms to use. Could you estimate whether each of the following provisions is more likely to increase or decrease the size of the fund? Or if it's unclear to you, could you please tell us what additional information you would need to provide a cost estimate? And the first one is moving from a geographic to wire center averaging. Does it increase or decrease the fund? That is moving from geographic to wire center averaging. Just your humble opinion. And just move the mic close to you if you could.
It sounds like a simple question, but I'll give you a simple answer.
Just does it increase or decrease?
My guess is it's going to increase. However, it's a function of what model you use, and the current language in the bill says 2.75.
Using that modeling, would it increase or decrease?
When you say using that model,
that's in the bill.
It's not clear to me what model we're using in the bill.
Okay, it's not clear to you. Okay, that's a good point. And I mean, that goes to the idea that you need additional information before you could say increase or decrease. But at this point, you're saying it, your first hand blush is it increases.
That particular piece.
Okay. The next one is eliminating the parent trap rule. I had that explained to me. I wasn't sure what that is, but now I do. And I think you know what the parent trap rule is. So would it increase or decrease the fund? Eliminating the parent trap rule.
The potential is it would increase.
Okay.
It's a function of how many exchanges and lines get sold.
Okay. Creating an alternative recovery mechanism for inter-carrier compensation revenues. Let me repeat that. Creating an alternative recovery mechanism for inter-carrier compensation revenues. Will it increase the size of the fund or decrease it, in your opinion?
That has the potential for increasing. Again, it's a function of how and what the benchmarking.
Okay, so in this question, I've given you three areas, and it looks like to me in all three areas you said it would increase.
I said the potential is there.
Potential, okay. Let me have Verizon. Do they have any disagreement on this?
Well, no disagreement on that, Representative Stearns. I think you're probably getting to the second half of the question, which is, are there other aspects of the legislation that could potentially decrease the size of the fund as well? Be happy to respond.
Well, I'm happy with the decrease. I'm just concentrating this morning on what areas that I think might increase, and just so we have an understanding where the worst case scenario would be. Mr. Roston, is there anything that you might want to comment on this relative to Mr. Lubin's answers?
No, I agree that I think all three provisions would increase, are likely to increase the size of the fund.
Likely increase. Mr. Lubin has indicated, though, in some cases he'd need additional information to provide a real cost estimate. Do you think you can emphatically say more so than he sort of has some qualifying points here? Do you feel pretty much that all three of them will increase in your mind?
I'm pretty clear. Mr. Lubin has studied this in much more detail than I have, but for example, the parent trap would have almost no chance of decreasing the fund, and any sales would probably increase the size of the fund, as one example. The same would be true of inter-carrier compensation.
Okay. Let me go to Mr. Masclero. You recommended targeting support for broadband services to areas and consumers that currently lack service. I guess the first question is, do we know those areas and consumers are today? Do we know where they are?
I think by and large we do. And so I think we do have the ability to target support where it's most needed.
Shouldn't we wait on the results of the $7.2 billion broadband stimulus and the broadband mapping efforts that are currently underway before paying companies even more to provide broadband service in areas that they may already have it?
I think the answer is yes, but I think it's going to happen. I mean, the timeline here, we're already in November of 2009. The mapping will get done next year. In any plausible scenario where this legislation moves, I think it'll match up so that we'll have that data.
So in your opinion, we shouldn't wait?
No, I'm not suggesting we wait. What I'm suggesting is the mapping, I think, will get done before.
The bill passes?
Yes.
Okay, that's true. Dr. Roston, isn't it true that a tax on broadband could decrease broadband subscription and inhibit adoption?
Yes, that increasing taxes on broadband to pay for, as I said earlier, every dollar you spend comes from someone else's pocket, so that would increase the price for other people, and they would possibly respond by reducing their subscriptions.
Okay. Ms. Moyer, do you think in your heart of hearts that the bill as drafted right now would lower consumers' bill? I mean, would you put your money on it?
My own money?
Your own money. Your own money.
As opposed to what we do.
I truly believe that by expanding the contribution base, yes, it would.
So in your heart of hearts, you'd put your own money on this then?
I guess that's what I'm saying.
Okay, well, you have some skin in the game, so I respect your opinion. Thank you.
Thank you.